What if the quietest creatures on Earth actually possess the cruelest strategies? Plants that don't wait to be admired but instead deceive, hunt, and manipulate. Why do some blossoms smell like rotting meat? Why do some do without leaves, roots, or even sunlight entirely? And how can a single brief bloom justify years of waiting? Behind each of these plants lies a plan, cold, precise, and uncompromising. What you are about to see challenges everything we have learned about flowers. And the first plant proves it immediately. Beauty was never the goal here. Top 1. The gigantic, stinking flower, Rafflesia arnoldi. Deep in the dense rainforest, there exists a plant that seems to defy all known rules of botany. Rafflesia arnoldi has no leaves, no stem, and no visible roots, and yet it is the largest single flower in the world. With a diameter of over 3 feet and weighing more than 22 pounds, it seems like a biological error. Most of the time it remains invisible, hidden inside a climbing plant upon which it lives as a parasite. For months, sometimes even years, there is not a single sign of its existence. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, it bursts forth, a fleshy red explosion in the middle of the forest's green. But what truly makes it notorious is its scent. During its short blooming phase, it emits an intense stench of rotting flesh. The smell is no coincidence but a perfectly tuned strategy. Flies and carrion beetles are lured in and unconsciously take over pollination. After only 5 to 6 days, the flower decays again, as if it had never existed, a rare, fleeting moment that shows. In nature, it's not about beauty, but about survival. Top 2. The bat flower, Taka chantrieri. There are plants that don't want to be admired but consciously unsettling. The bat flower belongs to exactly this category. A quick glance is enough to understand why it's called that. Its nearly black flowers spread out like open wings, while long thread-like growths hang down, reminiscent of whiskers or tentacles. The form looks alive, almost disturbing, as if the plant were watching the viewer. But this appearance is no accident and no aesthetic error of nature. In the shady, low-light rainforests, being conspicuous is vital for survival. The dark silhouette stands out clearly from the surroundings and specifically attracts certain insects. Instead of relying on sweet scents or bright colors, the bat flower emits a peculiar odor that mainly attracts flies and beetles. At the same time, it is extremely sensitive. It requires constant warmth, high humidity, and perfectly drained soil. Even the smallest deviations can stop its growth. It is precisely this fragility that strengthens its myth. A plant that doesn't want to please, but stays in your memory because it challenges all common notions of beauty. Top 3. The Venus flytrap, Dionea muscipula. In an environment where the soil offers almost no nutrients, nature has made a radical decision. Here a plant emerged that refuses to remain passive. The Venus flytrap looks harmless at first glance, but its leaves are high-precision traps. Each leaf consists of 2 movable halves, lined with fine teeth. Inside are sensitive hairs that register every touch. If an insect touches these triggers only once, nothing happens. Only when the contact is repeated does the plant react. Within seconds, the leaf halves snap shut, and this delay is no coincidence. The Venus flytrap checks to avoid wasting energy on raindrops or false signals. Once the prey is trapped, the trap seals itself and begins to secrete digestive enzymes. Over several days, the insect is slowly decomposed and converted into vital nutrients. But each trap has a limited lifespan. After a few hunts, the leaf dies off. A calculated sacrifice for maximum efficiency. This plant impressively shows how fluid the boundary between hunter and vegetation can be. Top 4. The pitcher plant, Nepenthes. In humid, densely vegetated regions where the competition for nutrients is relentless, one plant has chosen an unusual path. The pitcher plant looks at first like an exotic specimen with decorative vessels. But these pitchers are not flowers. They are modified leaves. Sweet nectar glistens on their rim, attracting curious insects. This is exactly where the deception begins. The surface is extremely slippery. One false step is enough, and the prey slides into the interior of the pitcher. There is no escape. The walls are as smooth as glass, and a liquid collects at the bottom that contains not only digestive enzymes, but also specialized bacteria. Together, they slowly decompose the victim and transform it into a nutrient-rich solution. In this way, the plant gains vital minerals that are barely present in the soil. Some species take this strategy even further and can even catch small animals. But despite its silent hunt, everything remains hidden. Still, motionless and precise, the pitcher plant proves that survival sometimes means becoming the perfect trap. Top 5. The underground plant, Hydnora africana. There are plants that completely reject the light. Hydnora africana is among the strangest of them. It spends most of its life invisible underground. Months or even years pass without a single visible sign of its existence. It has no green leaves and does not perform photosynthesis. Instead, it lives as a parasite, directly connected to the roots of neighboring plants from which it draws water and nutrients. Its body is thick, fleshy, and looks more like an underground tuberous organism than a plant. It only breaks the surface for reproduction. Then a heavy, reddish-brown flower suddenly appears, its shape reminiscent of an open maw. But the most striking thing is its smell. It emits an intense stench of decaying meat. This smell attracts flies and beetles, which crawl inside and remain trapped there for hours or days. The plant does not kill them. It merely holds them until its body is covered in pollen. Only then are the insects released to continue pollination. A slow, dark cycle that shows how adaptable life can be. Top 6. The monkey face orchid, Dracula simia. In mist-shrouded mountain forests where light falls only dimly through the canopy, a flower grows that instinctively makes the viewer stop. The orchid Dracula simia looks as if it were looking back. With astonishing accuracy, its blossoms form the face of a small monkey. Eyes, nose, and mouth seem clearly recognizable, an impression that the human brain can hardly escape. This appearance is not a conscious design by nature, but the result of random evolution and natural selection. It is precisely this randomness that makes the illusion so unsettling. But its uniqueness doesn't end with its looks. The orchid emits a soft, fruity scent reminiscent of ripe citrus fruits. This smell specifically attracts insects that ensure pollination. At the same time, the plant is extremely sensitive. It requires constant coolness, high humidity, and permanent shade. Even minor changes can jeopardize its survival. Therefore, its occurrence is considered a sign of an intact ecosystem. A plant that does not impress through size or poison, but through a face that makes us look back uneasily. Top 7. The ancient survivor, Welwitschia mirabilis. In one of the most hostile landscapes on Earth, there exists a plant that defies every logical expectation. At first glance, Welwitschia mirabilis looks like a dried-up heap of twisted leaves, left carelessly in the sand. But this impression is deceptive. Throughout its entire life, this plant forms only 2 true leaves, and exactly these 2 leaves continue to grow continuously, year after year, decade after decade. While their ends fray and tear due to wind, heat, and time, the base steadily grows back. This is how the bizarre ribbon-like forms that make it so unmistakable are created. Below the surface, a short, massive trunk holds the plant firmly in the ground, while a deep root searches for every trace of moisture. Most amazing, however, is its age. Some specimens survive for more than 1,000 years. Their secret lies in the ability to absorb moisture directly from the air. Fog is enough to ensure their survival. Welwitschia mirabilis is not a fast, flashy wonder. It is a silent proof that endurance is sometimes more powerful than any change. These plants show that nature does not have to be gentle or fair. It deceives, waits, hunts, and survives in its very own way. If this hidden side of the plant world has fascinated you, then leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Because this was only a small glimpse into a world that seems quiet but is anything but harmless.